What up, though? Led here. Welcome to Boxing on 100, not 100. Let's come on. Let's act like we know what this is, man. Let's act like we know what this is. Boxing on 100. So we here. Before we get into the two major topics, because man, there is a lot to talk about. But I'm gonna try to keep this episode brief. It's the first episode, y'all getting used to me, and I know y'all like, who is he? What does he know about boxing? Like, why would we listen to you? I'm just a fan, bro. I'm not about to sit up here and show you and tell you all these credentials and make up stories. I will say, when I was a shorty, I'm from Detroit. Crunk Boxing Gym, the legendary Crunk Boxing Gym, was right up the road. We went there. Most of the time, we didn't really box, although we had some training classes, and I did train. I actually got to meet Emmanuel Stewart. Rest easy. Gotta say that. I didn't realize he was a legend and all that. You're a kid. You don't realize who's a legend and who's important. So he was just in there. We actually went there to swim. Like they had a really dope pool and they had a basketball court, a gym inside. So we would go there to hoop and do other things. I went to training camp like for a few times and then that was it. It was hot and sweaty and it stank in there. Legendary posters. You'll see Hitman Hearns will come through. All of that, but man, it was gross in there. Get me out of there. But they tore it down a long time ago, but people didn't know it actually moved. And so be it, just fate, right? It happens to be right around the corner from me. Like pretty much I can get to the new Crunk gym in about 3 minutes walking. Like that's is that in is in that area. I'll say 5, but you get the point. It's really close, and so like boxing's always been near and dear to me. I grew up on '90s boxers. First of all, I just want to run down the list of my guys growing up. First, y'all probably see if y'all some real boxing fans like the love the sweet science. It wasn't just waiting on the main card. You've seen El, my man Ricardo Finito Lopez on most of the Tyson undercards and a lot of the Cesar Chavez undercards. Undefeated, one draw, smooth. I've never seen someone as calm as him in the ring. Still to this day. Like he was just so calm. Even if he took a hit, he was just so composed. And it just taught me a lot about composure in combat. He was the first lesson taught with that. A legend, class, smooth, educated, high ring, general ringship, high IQ, just one of the all-time greats. So that's my reason for him being one of my favorites. Next was Michael Carbajal. Only reason why I don't have a big story. My uncle loved him and he told me his nickname was Little Hands of Stone, and I thought that name was fire. Then I seen him box and he was electric, and he was my man ever since. Little Hands of Stone, Michael Carbajal. That was my guy. Lennox Lewis, for the big fellas, to me, outside of I would say Riddick Bowe in his prime, he was the most skillful, just elegant boxer I've seen when I was growing up. Obviously, I know all about Ali. I went back and studied the game tapes, you know what I'm saying? But in that era, like I said, prime Riddick Bowe had the tools. Lennox mastered the tools. Riddick had them, Lennox mastered them. That jab was legendary. His ups and downs is his two, the losses to McCall, the losses to Rahman. Listen, we know what happened, but then you talk about them big dubs against the likes of Holyfield, Tyson, and you know what I'm saying, that war with Klitschko. That's my guy. And then lastly, Floyd Mayweather. No, look at the picture. Notice that's Pretty Boy Floyd. Pretty Boy Floyd. That was my guy, man. From Michigan, Grand Rapids. I had, that was kind of an easy pick, but then I realized how talented he was, and I want to thank his uncle, man. May he rest easily as well, because I felt like in his early stages, for that little duration where his dad wasn't involved and he became more of an offensive fighter, but they needed each other. It was the yin and yang situation. So, but he blessed us with some really great fights, man. he was entering his prime right before he changed the moniker to Money Mayweather. People kind of forget that. So, like, I would say maybe post Corrales is where he just really took it to another level. Think around 0203 is kind of where he stripped Roy Jones Jr. of that pound for pound title as the best in the world. And he pretty much never looked back. So those are some of my favorite fighters. That's who I grew up watching. So I wanted to just, let y'all know what type of, what I'm saying, what type of guy y'all dealing with, man. Sweet Science. You notice those guys weren't the most heavy hitting power punchers, although Michael Carbajal for his weight class was dynamite. But they all had skill, like true skill, and can win fights in a various amount of different ways. So I had to let y'all know that before I get into this, right? Because who gonna listen to somebody like, I don't think he know what he's talking about. But yeah, no, so we're gonna just start off with the biggest fight in July. Sorry, the other one have to wait. But yeah, man, we're gonna talk about Fulton anyway. Psych. No, we're gonna talk about Spence and Crawford. Yeah, I was just messing with y'all. Man, when I look at this and I look at this chart of shout out to CompuBox, I am astonished, absolutely astonished at the sheer dominance of Crawford. Now, let me be clear. Let me be honest. I picked Crawford to win when this fight was discussed pre-accident about maybe or things like that, and people was kind of whispering like I could see Crawford and Spence locking in. I had picked Crawford then. I just thought he was just technically better. And I hate this because it feels like I'm coming up with when Spence got hurt and he came back, fought Ugas. I was like, he probably shouldn't battle Crawford. Probably shouldn't fight Crawford. Probably shouldn't be in the ring with Crawford, to be honest with you. Saw his flat-footed stance, his wide stance. I saw very little head movement. He was getting caught by someone who isn't as quick, who isn't as potent with their punches, who isn't as accurate, who isn't as quick twitch as far as, you throw a jab, I'm over top with that. I'm over top with that. Easy, too. Think once. And you feel it, though. And you feel it. And I felt like Crawford power was always underestimated. I feel like it's been underestimated, as if everybody was worried about the pressure Spence would put on Crawford, which is warranted. I get it. It's a bigger dude. When he gets up on you, he hits the body with the left and the right. He goes upstairs, but it's more of a systematic approach breaking you down. Crawford can end things with a punch, man. He can just end things. And I think a lot of that, when I was looking around, because I listen to boxing pundits, I watch Sean Porter's show on YouTube, things like that. I listen to, obviously, Showbiz, the adult, really good guy. He knows his stuff. Side note, I miss BK Warriors, man. I hope BK Warriors is good. I don't know if y'all remember him, but this would be the time. This is BK Warriors, wherever you at, bless King, hope you all well. This is the time we need you out here. But yeah, I just felt like Crawford was getting disrespected a bit. So when the fight was officially announced, I did waver back and forth slightly because I thought about the weight, because I know people was like, dang, man, Spence, you gotta cut weight. But I thought about it. I said, it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough for Crawford too, man. I can just tell, like, it wasn't gonna be as tough, but it's gonna be tough for Crawford as well. So I thought that was a mute point. To me, more than anything, is just he lost something with that accident. But he was gonna lose this fight anyway. So this not. Let me be clear with that. Let me be clear with that. While y'all see the numbers, look at that. Look at that percent of power punches landed. 60% power punches. No man can survive that, man. No man can survive that. So, But again, man, like I said, I think with the accident, it's natural. Like we're acting like these dudes are made out of like Teflon. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm someone who had emergency brain surgery. Some days I feel a little like I had brain surgery. I've been in a car accident before. Not nearly as I didn't get pretty much airlifted out of the sky like I heard Spence did. I didn't fly and all that. Got banged up against a tree. Didn't feel right for probably the rest of that year or in some change. Still can feel it. It does something to you physically. I just don't know what. I don't know how much it limited him. I just would like to think that he was going to always lose this fight anyway. But I think if anything, the incident may have stripped it from being closer. I mean, he didn't move. He stayed in the pocket the whole fight and was just getting tagged. I don't know what the game plan was. I was trying to listen in to his trainer, man, Derek, and I just couldn't agree with nothing he was saying. I tried. I watched it on the playback, and I was just like, the advice he giving him is kind of just stay the course, pretty much. Like he didn't really ask him to change up much. He didn't ask him to switch the levels. Maybe less lunging, try to crowd him a bit. But this is the thing, even when he was crowding him, he was getting tagged and coming out of moving in. When he goes in, boom, 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 throws a shot and tries to back away, that's when he was getting caught. So it was like like Crawford was like, hey, you want to come inside? Cool. Try to do your work inside. It's going to be a price you're going to have to pay going out, coming out from going inside, backing up. And he was catching them. And then like Spence was doing this weird defense where he was getting extremely low like this. And just all this was just flesh for a jab. Just all this the whole time. Jab, jab, jab. Then getting hit with a jab. Then getting hit with a hook. And then I'm just like, what is like it was just listen, Spence at the after the fight said timing. His timing was off. If y'all trying to do I don't want to see this fight again. Rematch in December for what? For what? For what? It's clear who's the better fighter. It was pretty clear before, like I said, pre-incident. I felt like the incident took away some of his just overall movement and just ability to feint, dodge shots, trade. He looked like the weaker fighter. He looked like he was the one that was lacking the pop, and Crawford was the deadlier puncher the whole fight. Nothing flush really came from Spence. I think the most flush punch was when he got caught on a second knockdown. I think that might have been his best punch thrown in the exchange. And that's what I was noticing too. Like even when the exchanges happen, you just the hand speed. And this is some things you gotta like listen, if you got a favorite fighter, you can find ways to try. You can find ways to try to work it in your head on why they could win, right? But here's the reality of the situation. If you strip away, I just like this dude. If you just strip that away and you say hand speed, timing, IQ, adaptability, adjustments, all that, the better technician, the smoother boxer, if all of that favors one guy, why would you pick the other guy? What were you guys banking on? Is I guess what I want to know. Because only way you pick Spence really is if Crawford just has an off night, if his timing is off, if he gets caught in the exchange with a shot that maybe rocks him, and then Spence moves in for the kill. Because one thing's for sure, two things for certain, if Spence got you groggy, if you show a little like, oh, he rocked him, Spence will close the show. But the chances of that happening was pretty slim from the outstretch. And here's the thing: we've seen Crawford get hit, we've seen him get rocked. You know, Mean Machine tagged him. Porter tagged him. Hell, Gamboa caught him, and then got knocked out in that same round, but he caught him. So he's not, you know, like untouchable. He can be touched. But the likely scenario of him getting finished, which I really felt like that was the only outcome Spence had to win. That gotta be going into a fight. You can lie to yourself. Your trainer can lie to you. You're watching the game tapes, bro. You know he's just one hell of a boxer. I'm gonna really have to either you're gonna have to become the world's greatest, like you're gonna have the world's greatest training camp for a few months and become like just as skillful as he is, or you gotta you gotta set up something to catch him. Like throw all this technical BS out the window. I need to find that one shot that is going to not knock him out, but get him to backpedal, get him wobbly, and then go in for the kill, and just accumulative punches and things like that, and hopefully the referee stops it. What's funny is that's pretty much what happened, just in reverse. So, yeah, I'm gonna look at these stats one more time, man, just to show you guys just the sheer dominance of this fight, man. And the guy with the superior jab got out jabbed big time. Not only just from how just the amount, just the power in the jab too. Like he wasn't just catching them getting points. This wasn't like Olympic style jabs where you just jab and get some points and keep. No, he was scoring big with the jab. Like his head was jolting back, bro. Like I seen it. I seen it. I seen it, bro. Like this was, man, this was an all-time butt whooping, man. Real talk. I like Spence, man. I like Spence a lot, but you got to regroup. I don't want to see him box again this year. I don't agree with Stephen A. Smith about he needs to retire, but also I wouldn't say it's blasphemous like everybody else is saying, because we all like we're selfish by nature. Like we just want these brothers to fight until they don't look like they can fight no more. Fans don't want you to fight until you look like you can't fight no more. You're never going to see the fans be ahead of the downfall, right? Fans are very much wait and see. Like, oh, he got put to sleep. He in a coma. Yeah, now he should probably stop fighting. Well, thanks for that. Appreciate that. Now that I'm laying up, in rigor mortis fashion, thank you for telling me I should stop now. But yeah, it's not gonna happen. But yeah, no, I just want to see Crawford against Ennis, but it's not gonna happen because he's at a stage where he's looking for the box office fight, and that's Charlo. Charlo names rings more bells, but it won't be a better fight. I think he washes Charlo. Either Charlo. I think if they got a baby Charlo, if they got a nephew Charlo, like all the Charlos can't mess with Crawford. Hell, Charlo Jermell is about to get dog walked by Canelo, in my opinion. Just a different class of fighter to me. Like I don't be seeing what y'all be seeing the Charlo twins. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. On my show, I'm being honest. I don't see it. I don't see it. They're like good fighters. They're not elite to me. So that's just my take on that. As far as Inoue and Fulton, these numbers don't lie. These numbers don't lie. A big takeaway from both of these fights is just jab work. Jab work. Jab work, bro. Look at the first round. 50% landed with the jab from Inoue. 50%. It was just jabs and power punching. It's kind of like the hallmark of winning the fight, man. Inoue is lethal. He's clearly top 2 pound for pound best fighter in the world. Crawford and Inoue are to me so far ahead of the pound for. It's like those two, and then I don't care who's 3 through 10. The gap to me is that that gap between the top two in the field. Oh, the top two is like affinity and beyond right now. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna keep it real with you. Inoue, he showed me some things that I haven't seen from him. Like that jab was working masterfully in that battle, in that fight, excuse me. Um Fulton was so gun shy because he instantly felt the difference in speed and power. That had to be deflating. The things you worked on. That's why, man, it's just when people are special like that, there's really no simulation for it. There's no one you can just pull off the streets or got an amateur that's going to really give you the real experience of what it's going to be like when you go against that type of alien talent. Same thing with like Manny, like Pacquiao in his prime, or Floyd in his prime, or anybody else that was lethal. Like you can't simulate that. You can't bring stand-ins that got, yeah, they might know how to Philly shell like Mayweather, but it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not. I don't know who Fulton was sparring with, but it ain't that. You probably should get y'all probably should get y'all need to get y'all money back. He just got schooled, man. He was gun shy. I think he maybe had one good round where that round was debatable, but he probably still lost. And yeah, man, he was just out of water, and that's pretty much how Inoue gets you out of there. If one thing's for sure, two things for certain, it had me really appreciating Donaire's performances versus Inoue, who wasn't scared to take a shot to give a shot. And that's kind of what you have to be. You have to go into a fight with Inoue at this point. I don't know how long his prime is about to last, but we're looking at peak performance from him right now. At his peak, you got to do what Marquez was doing with Manny in his peak. I'm going to get hit. In these exchanges, I just hope I can land two to his, I can land four to his two in the exchange. I'm talking about clean shots. That's really all you can hope for. You can't play this very patient, deliberate, because all he's just going to do is walk you down, score, and get out of the way of any counters you have. That's pretty much what he did all fight. He was aggressive when he needed to be. And he was very patient. For someone who clearly was dominating, who was teeing off on you at some points, he was still fairly patient, and that's scary. A patient Inoue with that speed and power is just it's mesmerizing. I think people got to stop comparing him to Manny. You're talking about a brother who won titles in 8 different divisions, man. That's the record. Like I'm not comparing anybody to Manny, bro. I'm not gonna hold you. I'm just being honest. What he did, I don't think would be not in our lifetime. It won't like you. No, not in our lifetime or our kids' lifetime. I don't think 8 divisions. Mm-mm. That, and he just did it so effortlessly and casually too, with a smile on his face and running his country and stuff like that. Like he's that boy different, man. Manny was different. So anyway, like I don't know how, like I said, his peak is going to last, but as of right now, you gotta bring the fight to him, or you don't really stand a chance. Donaire tried, and what's funny is if prime Donaire, what was it, 09, 2010 Donaire or something like that, probably would have been a closer fight because he was catching him. He just didn't catch him enough, and when he got caught, and that's what happened with Fulton. Fulton is still the man, though. I think, I just think he just caught up with the pound for pound top 2 fighter in the whole world. There's no shame in it. And you was willing to take the fight in his yard in a whole different country. Nobody's there cheering for you. They all wanted to see you fall. And so I got to give him respect and kudos to that. The hand wrap fiasco, y'all can get that out of here because they was in the room. Just like what's my man name? Not Heyman. What was it? Ellerby? All that. Remember when he was in the room for the Mayweather fight, making sure, yeah, the gloves are legit. They do that. Like, hey, look, I'm here. I'm watching. So they watched it. They watched it, and I'm thank God his gloves wasn't loaded. We'd if his gloves were loaded, we'd have been talking. Ooh, we'd been talking about prison or something. That's seriously. But that's all my time, man. I just wanted to get those thoughts out of here. I do not want to see Charlo fight Crawford. I prefer Ennis, but we're gonna get that. As far as Inoue moving up in weight to fight someone, he gotta become, undisputed. Uh he gotta get that last belt and then possibly move up. But no rush though. No rush. And he's gonna hit a certain age. Like he's past 30. So and so is Crawford's. Like these weight jolts and going up in weight at these ages right now, I don't know if that's the ideal situation. Like, listen, chasing belts, getting big fights is what you hope to do, and as a fan, we love it because you're giving us what we want to. But at the same time, I don't know. I just always think about Roy Jones beating John Ruiz, then having to trim off like 40 some odd pounds to battle Tarver. His body was never the same. His movement was never the same. Like, I want these guys to stay in their prime for as long as they can, because when they're at their prime and they go against someone else in their prime, we get Hearns and Hagler, we get Manny and Marquez, we get Barrera and Morales. Like, you know what I'm saying? We Castillo and Corral. We get those when they preserve themselves and give us that heat. We see it, man. We see it. So that's my time, man. Boxing on 100. Y'all be well, and man, we're gonna keep this going, man. Salute.